I can't believe we live in a day and age where this movie exists. So, quick context. Justice League 2017 was one of my most hyped films for 2017 just because at the time I was getting super into movies. Overall, I was like okay on superhero movies. I really liked Deadpool at the time. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 kicked ass. There was just a lot coming that year. Thor Ragnarok was a pleasant surprise from everyone involved. And a lot happened behind the scenes of Justice League that I tried to ignore. And it was definitely something that I was excited for. I didn't think it'd be a masterpiece, but I was just excited for it to come out. I didn't like it. There's a lot of stuff I hated about it. I tried making a whole Red Letter Media 2 hour long review with different parts about it. I only made 30 minutes of it, and I got tired of editing it because I kept watching the movie over and over again, and it became like this torturous cycle of how much of this shit can I sit through and endure before I go insane. So eventually I stopped. I quit on the project. I gave up, and the rest is history. I haven't seen the movie since then. I don't plan on watching it anytime soon. And for a long time after the tragedy that happened with Zack Snyder's daughter, people have been wanting a Snyder cut. There's a lot of controversy with how he acted on reshoots, and Ray Fisher, the guy who plays Cyborg, said that a lot of his scenes were cut out of the movie. We got a 2 hour long, including the credits, cut of the film that was overall tonally a mess, just felt all over the place, and just didn't work as a movie. It was just shit happening. It would be serious at points, it'd be funny at other points. It was just a mess. It felt like works trying to sit through the whole movie and get any kind of reaction that was positive. It was a mess. So for a while, people jokingly memed release the Snyder cut, which is the Zack Snyder version of the movie. And Zack Snyder heard about this and he was like, I have a copy somewhere. It's super long and it's not finished. So Ray Fisher came out, said release the Snyder cut, and basically was like a whistleblower for everything that happened on the reshoot set regarding Joss Whedon and the mistreatment going on. So everyone's like, release the Snyder cut, release the Snyder cut, release the Snyder cut. Out of nowhere in 2020, I believe, they announced that they were going to release a Snyder cut for real this time, and that it was going to be set to release in the year of 2021, and that it was going to be 4 hours long. So the fact that a Snyder cut exists and that's actually going to come out in public for people to watch is mind-blowing. This is the first time the internet's actually gotten something this big to become what was known as like a myth into a true reality. This Snyder cut was something that people would talk about like a hypothetical, like, oh, this would never happen. And it happened. Trailers were released. Zack Snyder was hyping it up. The actors were hyping it up. Everyone was hyping it. And early on, it got a lot of pre-hate. Even at the moment, the film still hasn't necessarily released. It releases of tomorrow. And I saw it. I saw all 4 hours of the entire movie. And I loved it. I hate to admit it, but I thought it was awesome. Everything that I disliked about the original, almost everything, 95% of everything that I hated in the first movie is either fixed or taken out completely. Unnecessary moments of humor that ruin the movie, for the most part, are gone entirely. Scenes where you need more explanations or more fleshed out moments from characters or side characters or antagonists, all that is flushed out to such an extent where it felt like an epic watching it. It was crazy. It's like watching a show get developed. And it was episodic in the sense that it was split into 6 different parts. It was one of those things where as I was watching it, I'm like, I cannot believe I'm sitting here watching a good version of a movie that I infamously hate. If the movie was just good or okay, That's leagues better than the original. That would be in of itself like Citizen Kane compared to the god awful original. Everyone who knows me knows I hate the original Justice League. I won't shut up about how much I hate the original Justice League. So to hear that this was coming out in a 4-hour cut from Zack Snyder, who's previously fucked up a lot of other superhero movies, I was worried, rightfully so, and yet I stayed optimistic. So I sat through the movie, and it was a moment where I was watching everything unfold, and I'm like, I've seen this, but this is my first time experiencing this movie. I saw the first hour on a laptop. I saw the other 3 on a big screen TV with surround sound, and I cannot believe I live in a day and age where this exists, where the public was somewhat responsible for what I wanted all along. Granted, it's really long. It's 4 hours long. And while it did have cheesy moments and definitely ridiculous music playing in some scenes, sometimes it was a bit dramatic. The ending sometimes felt a little long. This happened. And this could have been. Seeing what could have been become is insane to me. Like, I saw this movie and I didn't just sit and watch it. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this movie. Justice League, directed by Zack Snyder, was good. I can't get that over my head. I can't believe Warner Brothers wanted to hide that from us or take that away from us. So much of it was trimmed. It's like making a 30-minute cut of Blade Runner 2049. So much of the good was taken out or reshot or changed. It's crazy that the 2017 version even exists. It's still going to be out. It's still available to watch. It's on HBO Max. Knowing that that exists is so crazy. And maybe there's a bit of a bias going on at the moment because I hate the original so much that anything better would have been good. But this is genuinely, I think, a good movie. It's so well shot. Yes, it's dramatic, but I felt for the characters. They made every character that you didn't give a shit about at least somewhat understandable, which is leagues higher than what the original did. And I cared about what was going on with the antagonist. There were stakes to the movie. There were consequences. It was brutal. It was dark. It was what I wanted. It was funny at moments, and I was able to enjoy the humor because I was actually enjoying the drama in it as well. And it's such a interesting experience to say that I not only enjoyed this, but I genuinely thought that this was a good movie. I cannot believe the Snyder Cut exists. I cannot believe I sat through 4 hours of it. I can't even finish the Lord of the Rings movies in a year. And I sat through this 4-hour cut in one day, almost in one sitting, and I loved it. I cannot fathom how crazy that sounds coming out of my mouth, thinking about it and saying it. But I know 4 hours is a commitment, but I know some of you who sit through an entire fucking season of Stranger Things when it comes out. I myself am guilty of this as well. Give it a try, dude. It's either for you or it isn't, but wow. I'm so amazed that this exists. And again, it's not perfect, but I'm so impressed with the movie, and I would love to rewatch it as soon as possible. This time I would love to watch it in 4K when it comes out on HBO Max in 4K. And I think this deserves your support. I think Zack Snyder deserves your support. I never thought I'd say that. And yes, I am kind of worried to see what comes next, but wow, he did it. He did it. He made an awesome fucking movie out of what was originally there, but he finished it. That's so... Go check it out. It's probably going to be out by the time this video comes out, but yeah, if I had to rate it at the moment, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I really don't think it's any lower or higher. That could obviously change with rewatches, but holy shit, I'm very impressed. Wow. This exists, and I'm really happy it does. Shit.